And you're listening to Live at the Stage here at WTJU. My name is Peter, and we're lucky enough to have Mink's Miracle Medicine in town for a gig this 11th night of November over at Dirty Nelly's. But they were nice enough to come into town early to play for us here. So before I chat with you all, how about you kick off with one? What are you going to do?
It's called Freedom Queen.
Some smokes, laughing at the world. You're the joke of all jokes. Sit down and walk away. Leave now, there's no other way. Calm down, don't tell me to calm down. I'm already calm. Southside hills, down to the Salvation Army. I was flirting with the world, I'll leave one day, and I never want to go there again. I never want to go there again. Can't stand to lose the light again. Can't stand to lose the light. Freedom Queen, 'cause you never helped me, but you set me free. And I never loved you, but you sure love me. Freedom Queen. Freedom Queen.
Live here at the stage at WTJU, the sounds of Mink's Miracle Medicine, performing Freedom Queen, which you might have the chance to catch them this 11th night of November over at Dirty Nelly's, performing along with several other tunes. Welcome back to WTJU.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us back.
We've got Melissa right up there and Daniel Zezeski, and they've got the one and only Rudy B on fiddle up there. But they're going to have a full band tonight, including the wonderful Amy Curl playing some electric bass.
Yes.
And then Jake from Dogwood Tales on percussion. So it's going to be a great night. And also, actually, from Charlottesville, we've got Ramona and also Brooks playing. In fact, Ramona and the Holy Smokes are going to be coming to WTJU next month for an Offbeat Roadhouse concert. So do check that out. But it's been a few years, Melissa, since we had you all by. So let's go back for the folks who may not know the full history of Mink's Miracle Medicine and talk about how the group came to be.
All right. Well, Danny and I met here when I moved down. We met in the basement of the Jefferson Theater at a Hackensaw Boys show.
I came with a former member, a bassist, who was playing the bass, and she came out with the
New bass player.
Yeah, the Hackensaw Boys are kind of like Spinal Tap with drummers. They just come and go. You can never keep a bass player there long enough with the Hacks.
Yeah, but their bass players got us together. We started writing songs and booking shows at the Magnolia House, and never stopped. And then we moved up to Harpers Ferry, West Virginia, which is where we live now.
And you've been up there for a good number of years now.
Yeah, I think about 6 or 7 years in Harpers Ferry.
Probably 8.
8 years? I don't know.
We are officially mountaineers.
Yeah.
We have the license to prove it.
Well, that's what matters. Well, let's talk about that move to Harpers Ferry and how that inspired your sound.
Ooh, well, I've always really made a lot. I've always grew up playing like old time Appalachian music. And, I guess it's similar to Charlottesville there. There's a lot of, old music lovers there. But, the mountains, getting secluded, spending a lot of time writing. So isolation is really good for writing songs. Harder in Charlottesville.
Well,
I wrote a lot of good songs in Charlottesville.
Okay, yeah, there's a lot of good songs written in Charlottesville. But for me, the draw of the bars was very strong.
Well, Daniel, where were you? You're originally from Pennsylvania?
Yeah, originally from Scranton, yeah.
And what brought you down here?
Just no direction. Just had a friend who lived down here when I was 18, and I moved here and loved it. It's like so different from Scranton. The music and it's just a magic place. Obviously, it was 2005 I moved here, so obviously very different then in a way. But yeah.
Melissa, I know you were off at Berklee, but what brought you to Charlottesville?
Well, I wanted to move. I got invited to move in with Sabra Guzman,
yeah.
At the Magnolia House to hopefully be a person to continue putting on like her vision of square dances and old time music and such. And so did that for a little bit. And then another person moved in who wanted to do more hardcore music again. So the torch was passed and I moved again.
And, of course, you talked about having really grown up around the old-time sound, but was country always part of your DNA, or?
Yeah. I kind of fell in love with country music, and, Rudy and I, when we were in middle school and high school, we used to go to, like, a bluegrass country jam, and it was kind of like a catch-all, any kind of music, any kind of country, and all kinds of music, country and western, and bluegrass and old time
As they
jam.
say in the Blues Brothers, we play all kinds.
Yeah, exactly.
Country and western.
Country, western, blues, bluegrass, just kind of, like I say, old music, for lack of a better word, old acoustic music. So, and then I just kind of latched on to like Patsy Cline's music because some people, my grandparents introduced me to her, saying that my voice would be really good on her songs. So I became really obsessed with learning her material, and then, started singing country music that way.
Well, one of our DJs, Lonesome George, still talks about, we had you come in once. We were doing a Patsy Cline tribute show, and you performed, and he still says, she's still singing Patsy Cline. I said, as a matter of fact, there is still that Patsy Cline group that gets together.
Yes, yeah. So Mink's is original music here, and then I do a number of Patsy Cline tribute shows every year.
Well, is that with Jesse or from?
With Jess Jess Elliott Meyer from the Bumper Jacksons and Amy Curl from Furnace Mountain, and then whatever cats play in the band that year.
Mm-hmm. But Daniel, your background is not so much old time and country.
No. Yeah, Scranton was ska punk, really.
Yeah.
And took it from there.
So
polar opposite.
What was it, Charlottesville, that opened your eyes and ears to, through the Hackensaw Boys, or what was it?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, all kinds of music coming out here. I remember seeing the Hogwall Ram was the first time the first night I was here. I went to, what used to be the whiskey jar, but used to be
Escafé,
yeah, Escafé. I was like, whoa, banjo, like, freaking
Yeah.
fiddle is crazy. I mean, because we didn't. But yeah.
What really blew Danny's mind from, I think, not to speak for you, but what you told me is that how like acoustic musicians and bluegrass old time, after a show's over, like everybody will just get together and like keep playing.
Yeah.
And he's
That
like, I don't get it.
It's like the 3-hour gigs. So I was like, what? You play for 3 hours? Like, we played for half an hour, 40 minutes, 5 minutes growing up.
5 minutes the punk musicians play.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, and we go party. Or
Yeah.
It's done after the show. Yeah. No,
Each song is like 60 seconds long.
Nah.
Old time musicians play for like each song is like 6 hours long.
Well, I loved it though. It was like the old time music. It's like meditating. You know, it's like I was like, oh my gosh, this is actually there's something different about it. I didn't realize it's more than just like you playing the, for a 10-minute song straight. It was like a feeling, like different feelings.
Well, there's a musician here in town who posted recently on Facebook saying a jam means that you're really jamming. It's not about old time music or anything else. And so that started a whole conversation. So saying, well, jams have been around in old time for when it was mountain music going back to the 1800s. So it's kind of hard to define that as what's a jam.
Yeah, well, that's why we started writing our own music, because all the discussions got way too confusing.
Yes, indeed. Well, speaking of your own...
Yeah, this is actually a jam.
Speaking of live music and jams, how about we get another live tune from you?
Yeah, let's do it. So, yeah, Danny and I write songs together. This is his attempt at being country and my attempt at being punk together, so hopefully it comes across.
Whatever,
This is a song called How to Become a Writer.
And it's a light bulb. It's a brand new sun. Oh, well, that ripple came and it held the swell. It's been 15 years and I'm still in hell. Unexpected space and hopeful, like a citrus on a plate. Oh, how that ripple came and it held the swell. It's been 15 years and I'm still in hell. I thought I knew you well.
Live here at the stage at WTJU, the Sounds of Mink's Miracle Medicine doing How to Become a Writer. And you can catch them this 11th night of November over at Dirty Nellie's, along with our friends Ramona and Brooke, who are going to be kicking things off at 7, and then the full band of Mink's Miracle Medicine will come on after that. And folks, it's going to be a great night, so I encourage you all to get out there and enjoy some live music, especially it's been a while since Mink's Miracle Medicine came through town, hadn't it?
Yeah. I can't even recall the last time. Yep. It was warm. I remember that.
Well, something I know that's new since we saw you is you've got a new album out on WarHen Records.
Yes, we have a record called Thumbs Up Angel. We just did a repress of it with a really cool cover, a letterpress done by our friend Nate, who runs Hopscotch Coffee and Records in Winchester, Virginia. And he hand letter pressed a whole bunch of covers for us, so that's really cool and available through WarHen.
And we, of course, want to mention our buddy Rich Tarbell, who always takes some great photos. And
Yes, the center, I don't know what you call it. Oh, the insert photo is one Rich Tarbell took of us.
well, let's talk about you. We're saying how you and Rudy kind of grew up together in middle school. So
Yeah, we were band kids together. We played in jazz band at school, all the bands, and then we had a band together, a bluegrass band, for probably like 10 years, high school through college, called Acoustic Burgoo. Yeah.
And for those who are thinking, Rudy B, is that the guy from the Woodshedders or from Whiskey Rebellion? Well, as a matter of fact, it is. And boy, you should see the elaborate setup that Rudy's got there. He's got a full pedal board here, folks.
Just so I can see lights while I play.
Oh.
That's actually a cake.
It's a cake.
Well, Daniel, let's talk about how ska punk was your thing, but I'm always curious how many instruments one has back home and that you're not touring with. Do you have a bunch of electric and acoustic, or?
Got 2 acoustics, 2 electrics. That's it.
And Melissa, do you share in those, or do you have your own set?
I have a couple extras. I think we have probably about 8 or 9 guitars between, probably 8.
They keep multiplying.
We
Yeah.
got more winter jackets than instruments for sure. more of a jacket guy than a good.
Well, let's talk about these last couple of years. You know, obviously the world changed for a lot of folks, and I heard a rumor that the two of you got on motorcycles and just started driving around.
Yeah, I mean, we spent a lot of time riding our motorcycles. That's Rich Tarbell did a photo shoot when we rode down on our bikes. And yeah, we didn't go too far, but spent a lot of time on them. Skyline Drive. Yeah. Was
It
that
rained the
Skyline?
whole entire time.
Like
Skyline.
this, like
There's nowhere to
today.
pull off in Skyline Drive. There's no you just got to muscle through it. It was wild.
But it also brought you up to Gettysburg, PA. Did I see that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Drove up there. It's a pretty big bike town. And,
Yeah. Now, were you bringing your instruments with you on the rides, or were you just?
I don't think we ever
yeah, we
did.
just rode. Yeah, just rode.
We're kind of new to riding, so riding with our instruments was not something we've tried yet.
Gotcha. Now, were you writing as you went along?
Writing songs?
As you were writing, were you writing?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. It's a great thing to do because, you know, even when you're driving, you can kind of get distracted doing other things if you're like riding passenger. But when you're riding a motorcycle, all you can do is think.
Is that car gonna hit me?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't been riding as much since pandemic, so I have to get back to it. But he's still out.
Oh, I'm out. Yeah.
Well, let's talk about your writing style. Are you folks who will find a time each day, or when the inspiration hits you, or a certain time of the year when you say, I need to focus on my writing now?
I used to be really good about having a routine every day, writing a little bit every morning, and tried to pump out a song a week. Recently, I kind of lost a lot of my creative feelings during the pandemic. So it's kind of been a forcing myself to write thing recently. So I can't really speak on that. I guess I'm in a slump, but we're still writing.
We just wrote 2 new songs. Huh?
Yeah, we got 2 new
But
songs.
they're just different. We collaborate differently now. I feel like it's more a less pressure thing. We just come up like, hey, like check this melody out, and then we have more fun. I feel like we're more fun now. That's like.
So the writing, do you write together, or do you write and then hand off saying, hey, see what you can do with this?
Usually that,
Little
the
both,
latter,
little
or
both.
both.
Okay.
Yeah, now it's like, can you sing this kind of thing? I got read it. I'm like, can you want to try singing it? You know, that's the first song we played tonight. That's how that one went.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I wrote that song, and she started singing it one night, and I was like, oh, that sounds way better than me. And clearly.
So when you're writing, are you writing for yourself, or are you just writing with a voice then?
Usually when I write, recently I've been trying to craft kind of like a story arc. Sometimes, yeah, I'll get a feeling and try to write the feeling, or I'll pick a word and try to write a song around the word without saying it. Try to do like games like that in my mind, so keeps it fresh. And yeah, the feelings are fleeting. So every so often you get a song from your feelings, but sometimes you got to kind of make up a character and tell a story, make something up.
Fancy.
Yeah, a little fantasy world.
Are you somebody who goes back, you write and say, oh, this doesn't work, and you put it in the drawer for a while, or once it tunes in the drawer, do you not pull it back out and keep working on it?
That's a good question.
You got a lot of old songs in the pocket. We actually just bring out a few to add our last practice. We're like, oh, well, those are kind of cool, actually. You don't hear them for a long time, and maybe they'll work now. Maybe they'll work now in these times better. You know, or like, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, I mean, like ideas, like sometimes we'll really latch onto an idea for like a chorus and just say like, okay, that's definitely going in something, and you just know when something's going to be good for you because you feel it. And we try to just remember those best we can, but I think there's a lot that gets discarded.
Well, I know what would be good for the listeners, and that's another song. How about that?
Yeah, as we were talking, I was thinking, this is kind of one of those songs where I wrote kind of a feeling, but also just thinking about solar flares and thinking about how science. I got into a zone where I was writing a lot of science songs. I wrote about the pyramids. I wrote about solar flares, oceans. This is called Spots on the Sun.
I'll be here waiting in our hometown till the ice begins to melt. Feelings that I've never felt. A sheet of glass I lay on the floor. Brand new boots from Brooklyn. They're coming in the mail just to walk across my diamond door. There's not as many nights that I've won, not as many spots on the sun. Requires tools, but my money all ran out before I even got a shot with my soul. watch him waltz across the fire. At a fortune teller stand with a suitcase in his hand. There's not as many nights that I've won, not as many spots on the, not as many nights that I've won, not as many spots on the, not as many nights that I've won, not as many spots on the sun.
Live here at the stage, Spots on the Sun from Mink's Miracle Medicine. And you can catch them this 11th night of November over at Dirty Nelly's here in Charlottesville. Show's going to kick off at 7 with Ramona and Brooks. And then the full band of Mink's Miracle Medicine. We got Melissa Wright, Daniel Zezeski, Rudy B. And also coming in, Amy Curl and Jake from Dogwood Tales. Great lineup and a great night of music, folks. Head over to Dirty Dollars and see what you've been missing with Mink's Miracle Medicine up there in Harper's Ferry these days. Well, let's go back. We were talking about older songs, but I'm curious. Before you released this latest album, you had recorded 3 other albums. So do you go back and ever change the lyrics once you've recorded something, or once you've done that, are they kind of placeholders and do you not mess around with the lyrics anymore?
Ooh, that's a good question. I mean, I think I would say that I'm not even sure, because I think as I sing things, like, you know, most of the time we record stuff and then you don't really listen to it, you know, regularly. So I'm sure there's little things that I've changed that I sing, but the story generally kind of stays the same. We change arrangements of songs often, so.
So do you keep an instrument in hand as you're writing, or do you write and then pick up the instrument and start to figure out how it's going to?
I usually hear it in my head, so will sit with my notebook and then add the guitar or whatever later. But sometimes you write from a idea, like a musical idea that usually just a couple notes.
Well, Bandcamp described you all as a shimmery work of melancholy modern country.
Oh, yeah.
That's pretty cool. I didn't know they said that.
It's a great description. And I know a lot of folks are heading over to Bandcamp right now to find that. And can they find all your recordings, or this newest one on WarHen? Is that only available over at WarHen Records?
The newest one is on ours as well, so our band name is hard to remember, but we're easy to find online once you do. So all of our music is hopefully everywhere you look.
Well, that brings up the question I was avoiding, but you brought it up yourself. So Mink's Miracle Medicine, let's talk about the band name.
Well, I love chaos. No, just kidding. It's one of those things that evolved. We wanted to be called Mink, but there were so many other bands called Mink. One time they put the wrong band description in a show at a venue we were playing, and I think some people were pretty disappointed when they showed up. So I just thought of something kind of nonsense, and it came from a piece of artwork that I got at like a craft fair that had miracle medicine on a horse-drawn carriage, like a snake oil salesman. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, medicine.
And I thought it was kind of funny because that's my joke to myself, that musicians are snake oil salesmen, and in a way.
Well, why don't you sell us something now?
Oh, well. Oil it up.
Come on down. Dirty Nellies.
Well,
Macaroni salad.
it's free when you get it. Getting into Dirty Nellies is free, so you're going to have to come down and see what the offer is.
So what are you going to play for us?
We have carpenter pencils.
Those are also free, so you're going to have to come and see.
If you're working on a new house.
This is a new one here. Speaking of storytelling, I'm pretty sure I met a ghost, so I wanted to tell her story. This is called Dancing in the Middle of the Floor. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3.
Been living in a movie, cast against her will, suspended on a bridge above the water like an oil spill. Used to float into a room, used to sing until they'd cry, open up like a bottle on the rocks. Every Friday night she'd be singing, I've been waiting for my moment, won't see me rush in the door, and if nobody shows up, I'm gonna dance in the middle of the floor. Now I've been hearing ghosts talking up there in the loft. 15 horses, 13 stalls. Feet are shuffling on that old plank floor, dust shaking from the walls, giving me a heart attack, giving me a song. I've been waiting for my moment, won't see me rush in the door, and if nobody shows up, I'm gonna dance in the middle of the floor. Oh, I've been waiting for my moment, won't see me rush in the door, and if nobody shows up, I'm gonna dance in the middle of the floor. Dancing, 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 dancing in the middle of the floor. Dancing, waiting for my moment, won't see me rush in the door.
Live here at the stage of WTJU. Sounds of Mink's Miracle Medicine doing Dancing in the Middle of the Floor. And I have to ask, do you get many ghosts visiting you out there in Harper's Ferry?
Yeah, way too many recently. I don't know what's happened, but something happened. Yeah.
Do you get inspiration from the ghosts?
I do. Recently, I feel like, it's kind of like I have a couple weird things that I think about. Yeah, I'm afraid to say it.
Nothing wrong with sharing. This is a safe environment.
Well, I like to call on my muses, and sometimes they are ghosts. And other ones are more weird. But yes, this one was a barn ghost. living in a barn.
Daniel, let's talk about a little more about your background. Ska punk, but I know you were doing, was it carpentry for a while, or
Yeah, blue collar in general.
you still do some of that just to
Yeah,
keep your...
I started a painting business. It's called Zezeski Furniture.
Right there in Harper's Ferry?
Yeah,
Residential interior,
Yes,
exterior.
yes,
Mhm.
we do it all, and that's great because get to come out and play music whenever, you know. And so that's what it's all about.
And when the two of you are out on your motorcycles, do you have tunes running through the helmets, or do you?
no,
Okay, so
they yeah, we don't have like the equipment. We just have
Gotcha.
the normal helmets, yeah, but
So-
probably would. That'd be sweet.
so when you're at home, are you listening to music, or are you just kind of focusing on your own?
We're really weird. We don't really have a great listening setup, so we rarely listen together,
Yeah.
which is strange. But I think we make music so much, and I also teach music lessons, so I'm pretty much playing all day. So you know, when time comes to have quiet, it's nice.
No, I just drove down to Louisiana. I'm the same way. You know, I listen to music all day, every day
Right.
with what I do. And so for that drive, I was listening to a podcast called Mandolins and Beer, but very little music. It was more about the talking, just because I
Yeah.
needed to clear my head.
Yeah.
Exactly. I
Good to
get
know
that.
we're not the
Totally
only
get
ones.
that.
Well, maybe we can get one more from you before we let you get off to sound check over at Dirty Nelly's.
Yeah, I would love to. This is a song called the Nashville Song. 1, 2, 1, 2.
She was headed down to Nashville in a car her daddy bought her just for being born. But being recently cut off, she had no money, only packed a little dress she wore. Peeking in the rearview mirror, all a girl could need was a place for getting clean. No manufacturer's designed a cookie cutter yet for punching out a dream. She thought one day she'd be an Opry star, ride home in a parade as the radio is playing her big single again. You better let it go a little to your head. Now she was only there that morning 'cause the coffee's free on Tuesdays and they serve it strong. When she gazed into some eyes and realized they were attached to another rambler on. Oh man, he had a heart beneath his rib cage, his lungs sighed out a voice, but his face was one that hadn't shaved in weeks. It took one cigarette, a matchbook, and a black and tan when her brakes began to squeak. She thought one day she'd be an Opry star, ride home in a parade as the radio is playing her big single again. You better let it go a little, oh, to your head.
The Nashville Song live here at the stage at WTJU from Mink's Miracle Medicine. We've got Melissa Wright up there, and you know, every time I hear Melissa sing, it just reminds me of how much I love that voice, folks. So I encourage y'all to get out there and catch Melissa, and of course Danielle Zezeski there, along with on fiddle Rudy B. And tonight they've also got Amy Curl joining them on bass, and Jake from Dogwood Tales on drums. Our friends Ramona and Brooks are going to kick things off at 7, and then we're going to get the full band sound of Mink's Miracle Medicine at Dirty Nellie's this 11th of November. Well, thank you all for stopping by WTJU.
Thank you so much.
You can talk together. I'm not going to jinx you.
Pinch poke.
And we're going to send things back, well, to wherever the music's going.